Betrayal and revenge. The wind howled through the grand estate as Olivia adjusted her silk robe, peering out the window at the man who had captivated her in ways her husband never could. The gardener, Raphael, was a vision of rugged beauty. His tan skin glistened under the afternoon sun as he wiped the sweat from his brow. The sight of him, strong and uninhibited, stirred something deep within her, something she had long forgotten. Her husband, Henry, was not a powerful man. A businessman with modest means, he provided her with comfort but little excitement. Their marriage had long since turned cold, their interactions reduced to polite exchanges and formal obligations. But Raphael, he was passion embodied. She had taken him into their home under the guise of employment, but their trysts were far from professional. Every afternoon, when Henry left for work, Olivia would summon Raphael into her bedroom. Their bodies tangled in sheets of silk, their moans lost in the vastness of the estate. She had convinced herself that she deserved this, that love was more than just duty, it was fire, and Raphael ignited her like no other. One evening, she found herself drawn to a lavish party hosted by the city's elite. The estate's owner, Alexander Morrow, was a man of wealth and power, someone who could elevate Olivia to the heights she craved. Their flirtations were subtle at first, lingering glances and whispered words. But as the night progressed, she found herself surrendering to his charm, spending the night in his penthouse suite, wrapped in the arms of a man who could offer her more than just fleeting passion. For a time, she thought she could balance it all: her husband, her lover, and her secret indulgences. But fate was never kind to the greedy. One night, Alexander, curious and possessive, followed her home unannounced. He had suspected she was hiding something, but nothing prepared him for the sight before him. Olivia, lost in a moment of guilt-ridden passion, lay beneath Henry, their bodies entwined in an act she had once considered devoid of meaning. It was a rare occurrence, a desperate attempt to mend what was broken, but to Alexander, it was betrayal of the highest order. Rage consumed him. She had played him, deceived him, and now he would make her pay. He did not act alone. With the help of his closest associates, men who thrived on control and punishment, he orchestrated his revenge. Olivia was no longer the seductress who held the power. She was the prey caught in a web of her own making. She awoke in a cold, unfamiliar room, her wrists bound in silk restraints. Panic surged through her veins as she recognized the faces surrounding her: Alexander and his men, their expressions dark with intent. She pleaded, but her words fell on deaf ears. This was not a place for mercy. Over the following days, Olivia endured a torment she had never imagined. The men took turns exacting their vengeance, breaking her spirit piece by piece. Every plea, every tear, was met with laughter and cruelty. Alexander watched with satisfaction, reveling in the destruction of the woman who had dared to toy with him. Meanwhile, Henry discovered the truth in his own way. Letters and photographs, sent anonymously, revealed Olivia's infidelities in lurid detail. A broken man, he left the estate without a word, vanishing into obscurity. Raphael, too, disappeared, realizing he had merely been a pawn in a game far larger than he had understood. As the days stretched into weeks, Olivia became a mere shadow of the woman she once was. The lavish silks and fine jewelry were gone, replaced by rags and bruises. She no longer fought against her captors. She had learned that resistance only brought more pain. But even in her lowest moments, she harbored a single ember of hope: a chance to escape, a fleeting opportunity to reclaim her life. One stormy night, as thunder rattled the windows of the estate, Olivia made her move. With hands trembling from exhaustion and fear, she pried a loose stone from the wall of her prison cell and used it to cut through the silk restraints binding her wrists. The sharp sting of freedom coursed through her veins as she slipped through the darkened corridors, heart pounding in her chest. She reached the main hall just as a shadow emerged from the darkness: Alexander. His smirk was laced with amusement and cruelty, as if he had anticipated her attempt all along. Going somewhere, he mused, stepping forward with measured intent. But Olivia, for all her mistakes, was not ready to surrender. She lunged forward, the stone still clenched in her hand, and struck him with every ounce of strength left in her body. Alexander staggered back, eyes wide with shock and fury. Without hesitation, she ran, the cold night air embracing her as she disappeared into the darkness beyond the estate. By the time dawn broke over the horizon, the woman who had once danced between lovers found herself stumbling through an unfamiliar town, battered but alive. And in the end, as the echoes of her choices reverberated through the empty halls of the estate, Olivia realized that passion had a price and she had paid it in full. But this time, she had something she never had before, a chance to start again.